Okay, so I think everybody has heard of obviously the sad news of Achan graduating from Hololive, and so now seeing that the press Nasagi made a video, the story of the side character that created Hololive Achan. Now I know I don't know everything. But I do know like some stuff, as in, like I know that obviously like Sora and Achan were friends prior to Hololive, and Achan really was one of those people that like helped like basically create Hololive, and Hololive wouldn't really be at the place or even may even exist if it wasn't for her contributions. Like she's been there from the very beginning, but I don't know like everything. So I think it's a good idea to kind of look back on Achan and the impacts that she's really made, not on just Hololive, but on the VTuber sphere in general.
Suffered one of the greatest losses it could ever experience,
Oh,
the departure of one of its oldest members.
yeah.
One of the people who has been there even
Wow.
before the beginning began. It's a tragedy so massive, so unthinkable. People expected VTubers to graduate someday, yeah, sure, that was normal. But staff members, you would think that was normal as well. But for Achan, it was almost impossible. Nobody even had thought of that idea.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like to a certain extent you would even think like, there's no way Achan ever leave. It's like the current like Yargo leaving, like Yargo stepping down as CEO. I think it's actually like to that equivalent because yeah, I feel like it did feel like she would be there forever,
For a bit,
essentially.
it broke down a lot of people. Not just because one of Hololive's pillars decided to leave, but because of how fleeting and almost fragile the life of a VTuber has. It reminded VTuber fans what and why they fear.
Yeah.
That this could end someday.
Oh my god.
Anytime your Oshis could graduate
Don't stop showing all the graduated VTubers. It's sad.
and may choose to never reappear. One of these days, this one hobby, this one place
Yeah.
of comfort and corner of the internet that you wholly love, could turn for the worse or disappear. Of course, this
Because the thing is, right, like with streaming is still essentially a pretty new career path. Like there's not like people who have been streaming for like 30, 40, 20 years, right? Like, there have been some people that have, been streaming on Twitch now for probably like 10 years, like 8, 9 years, like a long time. And, there's been content creators, have been making videos on YouTube, since like 2006, 2005. So there's obviously some longevity, but like this career path is still really up in the air. And like you don't really know like how long it can really last for. Also when like your income essentially relies on other people, on their like subscriptions, their donations, viewers continuing to watch you. Obviously, there is the company backing you as well, but then it's like if it's a smaller company, you don't even know if the company's going to survive the next 5, 10 years. The reality is like, do we know? Can you like believe in the fact you can stay in whole life for the next 10 years, even if you are in whole life? Potentially. I'm not saying that I think it wouldn't survive, but we don't really know the landscape of how things can really be. And that's just sort of like the reality. It's like that's sort of the reality of being like a streamer, of being a content creator. There are ups and downs. Like you can kind of fall off, There is a level of having to stay consistent, continuously streaming. Twitch streamers, they stream for 12 hours a day, and there's this constant need and feeling you have to stream every single day. Or if you don't, you take a break, it does impact you in the sense of, you lose Twitch subs, you do lose a sense of viewership. There's just this consistent, like, push to having to do more and more and more and innovate and continue, and that can burn you out. There's a lot of like, mental aspects to it. There's health aspects to streaming, and to some of why some of these like VTubers left because of health issues that are not like physical issues, mental health issues, all of these sort of things. Like, is it sustainable for years on end? Don't really know. It's still sort of up in the air, especially in like the terms of VTubing. There's no VTuber who's been like streaming for like 20 years, but making content for 20 years, because VTubing is still sort of a new concept. It only got really big in 2024. I mean, some people though, I mean, in that sense, have been almost consistently like streaming, making content for almost 5 years now. So and Sora has been doing it for 7 years. So there is like in that sense, like a sense of longevity, but I don't it's still a sort of thing where it's like it's up in the air, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if you could really say that or believe in that. So there is those like aspects of things where it is up in the air. You don't really know.
This would hurt for anyone, especially for any VTuber and their fan base, but a staff member? What does that even mean? Who gives a shit about staff members,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, but the thing is though, right? Because like there could be a lot of staff members, but they're just not, they're not right. They're behind the scenes, so like there wouldn't be really a public announcement because the public doesn't know them.
Normally, there are people who the audience don't even necessarily have to know behind the scenes
Yeah, so
to not be as invested as instead of the actual VTubers. But A-chan was different.
A-chan's different,
It's
yes.
not just
yeah.
because this is Hololive, and because Hololive's
No.
brand power is so huge, everyone
No.
immediately becomes massive superstars and forces to be reckoned
I
with.
mean, because it's not like you know everybody that works at Hololive. You don't. We don't know everybody that works there. So
joining. It's because A-chan is part of Hololive's brand power. One of the reasons people humanized the company, gave a face for management, a different sort of experience that, quite frankly, no other VTuber agency has been really able to provide.
No.
Surprisingly too, despite how seemingly obvious her appeal and concept was. And this video will be a toast to that legacy. Her history, her works, why everyone loves her. This will be a story of VTubing's most beloved staff member.
I don't think that's
I
an
made a video about the
understatement.
beginning of Hololive. The humble beginnings of Iago, the attempts of Tokinosora towards stardom, and the background character behind both of
Probably
these
need to
are A-chan.
Probably need to check
Veteran
out
fans
those
have been
videos.
told and regurgitated the story over and over again, including me. And it's for good reason. It's a good story. It humanizes the beginning of this merry band of idols and dreamers, the story of how Hololive developed. Essentially, A-chan was the reason Sora was even able to find Hololive in the first place. At a time long past, Tokinosora dreamed of being in stage one day and becoming an idol. She wanted to pursue it. She confided in A-chan, and A-chan decided to support her, looking up for places to rent or gain equipment to
Wow.
realize this dream.
Honestly, honestly though, like what a fucking amazing friend. Okay, like what an actual incredible friend she is.
There, she accidentally found a little tiny startup called CoverCorp. At the time, the VR and tech-focused company decided to lend them their equipment to make their content. Iago thought this was fun and had the potential to develop into something more interesting, and the rest is history. Of course, we credit Iago for the realizing of Hololive. We credit Sora for the dream of Hololive. But A-chan was the one that linked the two.
Yeah,
we credit
wow.
A-chan for the inception of Hololive. Without her, Sora and Iago wouldn't have met. Without exaggeration, and quite literally, Hololive would not exist if she had not decided to go the extra mile to help Sora out. When A-chan first started, she used to only be casually mentioned offhandedly by Tokinosora. But when she started to get a little bit more involved in terms of the technical aspect and even in the content aspect, she was first drawn as a cute little bean character before being able to receive her own model. Compared to Hololive's more fantastical, whimsical, designed to shine model elements, A-chan was simple. She was just a normal office lady with a bow tie and glasses. Nothing crazy. Her design was simple compared to everyone in Hololive, and because of that simplicity, it only made her much more recognizable.
Yeah, I think it adds to the charm, and I think it makes it so there's actually like individuality in the sense of it separates her, because obviously A-chan is not a talent. She's not an idol, right? She's not one of the she's not one of the whole life idols. But I think the the honestly the yeah, the simplicity, is that a word? The simpleness of her design, I think, honestly, like, differentiates her. It has that separation to the point where you can recognize, "Oh, that's H-chan," that's the staff member, and I think that actually is a pretty smart thing to do. I mean, I think just the concept of giving her a model in the first place was a smart thing to do, and I don't think, a lot of companies, I mean, they don't do that, right? Because I mean, all the companies we now haven't, but they saw the sort of investment, because I mean, it costs money to make a model, but them seeing it to be worth it because it helps build the brand and makes the brand feel more personable, you know?
and have her own unique appeal, the simple, charming little girl next door. Personality wise, she's deadpan and calm a lot of the time compared to most Hololive members, yet she is brimming with so much charisma and personality. There's a reason why she's made to host events and game shows
That
that
makes
Hololive
sense.
often
Yeah.
has. She's a good foil to the personalities that she engages with. Dorky yet collected, degenerate yet composed. Unprofessional
I mean, she's probably definitely has a lot of experience in like in speaking and talking. So I feel like over time she's probably like gained that confidence, you know?
professional, I suppose, if you understand what that means.
Mm.
But with that in mind, what did Achan even do for Hololive? A lot of things. But let me explain. Achan is a multifaceted staff of Hololive. She's the content director, host of most events that involve the main channel. She's the technician, a
Holy
handler, she tells
shit.
people what to do. It's a whole slew of multiple tasks that require multiple skills. She's something of a DJ herself, even a lyricist of sorts. She wrote one of Roboco's lyrics, for fuck's sake.
Wow, what the
It's
fuck?
why Achan herself even admits that it's hard to put a name on the exact role she has on Hololive. She does so much for the company that it's hard to be much more specific about her job description.
Damn, yo, she must have been so fucking busy. Jeez, I mean, I'm impressed.
It's why she broadly refers to herself as a staff member rather than a manager. And by virtue of her being the oldest staff member in the company, the senpai tag she has is the most powerful, only second to Sora, honestly. And in an industry rife with mismanagement and horror stories of staff members being horrible
Oh,
and
God.
exploitative to their talents,
Oh.
Hololive used to not be an exception. Hololive themselves was full of these sorts of problems. Heck, they could be still full of these problems right now, but just learned better to keep it under wraps. Achan
True.
was there and humanized the management of Hololive, became the face of the company's staff members. But more importantly, we like Achan via the members of Hololive liking her in turn. Not just liking her, but even saving and pulling beloved VTubers back from a bout of burnout and demotivation. Somebody they could rely on.
モチベがきついもう結構モチベがきついなみたいな話をしてなんかやめ
Yeah, I think that, sometimes, like, companies forget, like, really how much, like, having your talent have a relationship with staff, or not in the sense of, like, obviously keeping it professional, but feeling comfortable and, talking to staff about these things and having somebody to talk to and to, navigate these sort of, things like burnout, ideas, all of these sort of things, and build a connection with a staff member. Like, how important that really is, and having a connection between staff and talents, and how beneficial that can really be in making a good working environment. And I think that, sadly, a lot of companies just fail at that because the management isn't good. The management does not treat their talents right. And that just creates a lot of fucking issues. Or if there was already issues, it creates even more issues. Like, it's a sense of, like, when you're a talent, right? And you make a mistake, but then you feel like there's no one there to help you, like you're alone, in the sense of you don't feel like management's there for you. That can really hurt you, like mentally. It can hurt your motivation. It can hurt your want to do better, or to find guidance in what to do in order to how to dig out of this hole that you might be in. When you make a mistake, it can sometimes spiral out of control and turn into other mistakes and turn into other issues, and it just keeps on spiraling out of control. And if you don't feel like you have the support of management, or you don't have the support of somebody who's there for you, or somebody you can find guidance in, and somebody who can help you, that can be really fucking bad. And I think that A-chan did a really good job at just, I think that why the audience loves her is because we hear about the effects of how she is so beneficial in helping the talents, and that it humanizes her in the sense of, this story, like Surya saying, yeah, A-chan really helped me through this difficult time, and she helped me power through that that down phase where she was feeling burnt out, where she was potentially wanting to quit. And that's a very understandable and human thing to go through. But, you know, it's like in that hypothetical sense, if A-chan wasn't there, maybe Suisei would have graduated. And that's why having somebody like an A-chan, or having staff members in a company where the talents can have a connection with, or that they can feel comfortable with, or having a manager or staff member who genuinely actually does care about the well-being of your talents is really important. And having management that are shit, that don't fucking care and treat you like shit, it will make that in this hypothetical Suisei would leave, you know? That's how you retain your talents, is to treat them nicely. It's not to treat them like shit. That's how you push people away. That's how you push your talents away. You know?
かなとか思うんだけど、どう思うみたいな感じで、相談して、でA ちゃんがすごいいろいろと計らってくれて、
事前にね、我々にはちゃんと連絡は来てたんだけど、いや、A ちゃんには本当にね、お世話になったというかね、もうマジで古き仲だから、もう顔合わせしてて、A ちゃんがミコのなんかね、GTA のね、動画を最初撮ってたの。デビューする前に。
But alas, the beginning of A-chan's departure started a little over a couple months ago, where she announced that she would take a massive hiatus to take care of her parents. A-chan was a hard worker, and especially since Holofest just ended, a break like that was no big deal. In Hololive, people have similarly taken indefinite hiatuses before. But on late June, 3 months after her announced hiatus, the Hololive community is slapped
I hope that doesn't mean her parents' health is not good.
with a sudden retirement letter from A-chan herself. A-chan was not someone that had a PL. She was with Hololive from the very beginning. You couldn't find her again, at least not online, unless she decides to resurface, of which there are no indications that she has plans to. Tokinosora, her best friend and the person she helped start
Yeah, I mean, technically, because A-chan's not like she wasn't like a talent. I mean, if she wanted to like be a streamer, I think she definitely could, and I think there would be a lot of support for her. But that's up to her. It's in the sense of like being an idol was Sora's dream. A-chan was in whole life to support Sora of her dream. So it's that sense of like, well, what is A-chan's dream? And her dreams and her aspirations after whole life might be offline. That's completely up to, or it could be she wants to still retain some sort of online presence, but obviously that's completely up to her and her discretion, her decision.
company with still remains there. How does she feel knowing that her very first fan, the one who started this with her, is gone? The future members that will never see her face nor hear her voice.
That must be that must be sad for Sora. I mean, I think they're obviously still gonna be friends, still gonna talk, but I think like, working together for 7 years and then, HN leaving, I think that would 100%, it would relieve a void, that would be like a black hole that HN would leave in Sora's heart, but I think that Sora will be fine, but it's definitely a sad thing. I mean, 7 years working together is a very fucking long time.
On stream nor interact with her publicly. This was not a normal VTuber graduation. No, this felt way worse. While they were not unpersoned, Hololive members can and will still talk about her. This felt like somebody was actually, truly going to disappear.
Oh yeah, that's
Why she
yeah.
decided to do this is not exactly specified, only implied that it might have been for family matters.
Aw.
However, she was given the sending off ceremony that she deserved. Many people from all corners of the industry came to express their thanks and their well wishes, even some that have stopped working with Hololive and Achan directly. This isn't to say that Achan was this perfect person, that she's this infallible, can do no wrong staff member. We can never truly know how certain people viewed her
Right,
and
yeah.
the things that she may have acted behind the scenes. But all we do know is that she helped many people, people that VTuber fans love.
I mean, yeah, no one's not like everyone isn't perfect, but there's still some like positive impacts, I think, that that she did make, and she was and obviously like she was a part of the bad times, but she was also part of the good times of whole life. So that there's that thing, where it's like there's the light at the end of the tunnel, and Achan was a part of those dark phases and those dark times, but she was also a part of the process of getting through those tough times. I do think that she definitely had a positive impact. Obviously, we can't say that like everything she did was great and like magical, because I mean, we're human. 7 years working, that potentially, I'm sure that there could have been a couple mistakes she may have made, but I don't think maliciously, but you know what I mean. No one's perfect, but it shows in, when the talents talk about her, that she has made a positive impact, I think, on a lot of the talents, and in turn made a lot of positive contributions to the VTuber sphere in general.
People that has been inspired by her. She founded the community that we know and love, nurtured it, protected it, worked for it. That's the Achan I know, that's the Achan I will remember, and that's the Achan that history will speak of. Again, your favorite VTubers will go away someday and may never return. Some people's age or bad habits or even their health will eventually catch up to them.
Oh god.
Sometimes they may even lose interest. Their life
Yeah.
circumstances may render them unable
I mean, that's
to
the same.
continue streaming or making content.
I mean, that's the same,
Their feelings
obviously, with all content creators. Sadly. I mean, it's the same thing of like you'd say like actors, singers, right? Like eventually, some of your favorite singers could just stop making music because they run out of their passion, or they move on to something else. The same thing with content creators. Like, are we going to be here forever? Are we going to make videos forever? Is that passion still going to be there? Maybe not, and you don't really know, and that's the thing, and that is the reality.
priorities might change.
Mm.
It's okay to grieve. It's okay to cry.
Yes.
Heck, I'll even go as far to say that it's okay to doom post and be negative.
Oh my god. I mean, that's
Achan may not
I
be-
mean, I agree with that. That's a part of the process, it's a part of the grieving process. Of course, like never like be malicious or send hate to anybody, but if you are, in your own sort of time of grieving and processing through the loss, it's like, oh, whole life is gonna burn and it's not gonna do, I don't know, whatever you want to like doom post, whatever. If it's like that's on your own discretion, I think it's fine. I think it's a part of the process, and I don't think that, they actually want whole life to feel or mean it, but I just mean as in that is a part of like the grieving process, and people do grieve in different ways, and I wouldn't like I'm not gonna fault anybody for grieving or being upset if their favorite content creator like passes away or their favorite streamer leaves. I think that a major sort of like aspect of like grieving or like seeing the impact that a creator really can make on people. I think it's like, Technobraid. I'm sad. Obviously, Technobraid is different because he actually sadly passed away, but it really does show the mortality of people and that somebody really can just disappear one day. Because that's how human life works, and that these people, the content creators, streamers, really do have a massive impact on people. And it's just like, yeah, it's just like very interesting. But A-chan definitely has had a major impact.
Here anymore. But Hololive itself is her entire legacy. Every inch and stone that Hololive has created, it has A-chan's influence and presence emanate from it. She is undoubtedly one of the most important characters that this industry has and ever will have. She may rest easy, knowing that this place that she has built will carry on and be happy for a while without her. That is the greatest gift, send-off, and reward that A-chan's works will ultimately bear fruit.
いやー、叶えたい夢はですね、やっぱり皆さんどのスタッフも思っていると思うんですけれども、ホロライブをたくさんの人に知ってもらって、ずーっと永遠に続くようなコンテンツといいますかにすることが夢、たくさんのファンの人を喜ばせ続けられることでして、個人的にはもし私はやっぱり人間なのでね、いつかこう死んでしまうこともあるかもとか、いろいろあるとは思うんですけれども、もし私がたとえいなくなったとしても、なんか VTuber 界で一番のスタッフだったねって言われるように頑張りたいなっていう気持ち。
I mean, yeah, like the thing is, like, Hololive will carry on, and it's carrying on based off of the foundation and years of A-chan's contribution. So, it's like Hololive carrying on and that legacy continuing is a part of the gift, because that's sort of what she like sort of said here. It's like she wants to, even when she dies or leaves or something happens to her, like I guess hypothetically dead, not in a dying way. Oh God, hope not. She doesn't die. But I guess she would die one day. But you know what I mean? Like not anytime soon. But like that, it's going to continue, and that legacy is going to carry on and move forwards, even if she isn't there. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Please consider the subscribe button if you'd like to see more Hololive and Vtuber videos in the future. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next one. Bye bye.